coming up your way. This is Smart 24.
Many companies in the period of 5 years have closed their business in Uganda. One of the current businesses in Uganda that have closed is AfriCell. The closure of business has attracted many people's attention from all over the country.
What I'm sure about, when the president goes out of the country every other time to persuade investors to come in, they put conditionalities, and most people dealing in business, of course, give hard time to these people running companies. Whereas you see the owners of the companies or the ones running them are foreigners. But deep at heart, and when you investigate further, you will know the people running them are people around here.
Evelyn Anite, the Minister of State in charge of investment, refutes allegations that could have led to the closure. She asserts that the entire government was involved in the process.
The entire government was involved in this, in trying to walk through with them to see into it that they remain in the market. But because of internal challenges of shareholders of the business, of issues of finances, where they had borrowed from, where they had come from, there was no way we could control them and keep them here. For instance, I could not address the issue of the interest rates which came as a result of COVID, and they were not able to, their loans that they had picked were not able to perform. We could not be able to address this issue because the facility they got was outside our jurisdiction. But had it been within our jurisdiction, I can assure you, we were going to maybe ask for breaks for them, we are going to ask for stagnation, or we're going to ask them to be exempted or something and give them the support the way we usually give.
And it says that Uganda is one of the countries that attracts several investors and also a country with favorable opportunities.
Happy that Ugandans are crying for the multinationals too that are leaving. Because we have this culture of saying, oh, you're giving all the support to multinationals, you're not supporting the local investors. We have to make them feel at home. Because what do we need from them? The jobs. I'm finally happy that Ugandans have appreciated the need of attracting multi-billion companies in this market. Now, alongside attraction of multi-billion companies and giving them that support that you always hear me speak about, I tell you, as a government, as Uganda, we are very investor friendly. We are actually number 2 in the region. Number 1 in the region and number 2 in Africa. We are catching up with Mauritius, which is number 1 in best investment destination.
Evelyn Anite applauds the late BMK for his strong efforts. It also pledges that government is doing everything at all costs to create a favorable environment for them, for the investors.
How do we support, why do we support the likes of BMK and encourage them? He's actually among the 10 top important local investors who have really done value addition, who have created jobs, who have value addition in terms of promoting the name of Africa, of Uganda internationally, nationally and internationally. The jobs he has created is regardless of the boundary, not only for Kampala, but in you know that he has a company in Karamoja and another one in Arua that he just started, among many other projects that he was doing. So what we do to encourage such investors, because in the face of COVID, we realize that their businesses have gone down. So our local investors, who have given them money, like I told you, 200 billion, which we are going to lend out through the commercial banks and the government banks at an interest rate of 10%. Apart from that, we give them incentives like land that we give them. We have reduced down and made it available, issues of standards, certifying them, certifying these companies, and we have also, as government, made sure that we give them tax exemptions, and we give them exemption on the plant and machinery so that they import their products for starting their businesses free of taxes.
The closure of AfriCell in Uganda still remains an option that is never wanted. Investment is one of the avenues through which government raises its funds to facilitate.
It is estimated that on average, Uganda loses more than 300 mothers per 100,000 lives births every year, above 200,000 children under the age of 5 due to preventable causes. Due to this, Dr. Ayume raised concerns that it would be better for health workers to remain calm and leave all stress factors out, like not getting adequate funds, so that they handle patients with care.
There are so many stress factors out there. There's environment, there's physical stress. Some of these patients have been abused or beaten. I mean, some of the health workers have been beaten. I've been witness to that by attendants or by patients. Some of the ladies' bottoms, nurses have been, pinched and all that by patients. Environment, hard to reach areas. Some of the health workers work in very hard to reach areas, mountainous areas, islands. That again adds stress. Stress of being away, missing your family, psychosocial stress. And then, of course, also the workload. We all know that there's a deficit of human resources for health across the board, across the country. That's what we are trying to address as Parliament and as government. Huge workload can stress somebody, even before you look at the pay, because you can also be paid handsomely, but when the workload is. So we have to advocate for both, and we have to ensure that we bring up the staffing levels. Good enough, the President has acknowledged the role played by scientists. He has promised. You have seen some of his directives. So it's up to us as Parliament to appropriate the necessary resources to ensure that the welfare of health workers is catered for. And that's not only money, but accommodation is one of the issues that has also been raised. See that at least every health facility, hospital, can accommodate a certain percentage, or if not all the staff that work at a facility.
Furthermore, he stressed the problem of many people living in the hospitals, yet they have nothing they're doing. With that, Dr. Ayume and Dr. Katumba, the registrar of UMDPC, urged caretakers of patients so-called Bajanjabi. Sometimes they are not necessary to be in the hospitals, especially in these times of the COVID-19, and to reduce on the crimes.
The Bajanjabi have done a lot of work in the past. But now, since we have enough health workers in the country, we can do away with them because we have enough nurses in the country who can take care of the patients. The costs that are involved by having so many Bajanjabi, you normally go there and you find Murad is having 8 to 10 patients, and they sleep there. They are using water. They are charging phones. They are boiling water. They are using sanitary equipment there, which gets, of course, damaged. Some people don't know how to use it. You are talking about social issues. Some have raped patients across. Some have raped each other. Some have raped our health workers. Okay? So, in other countries, the Bajanjabi are not encouraged to be on patients.
The UMA General Secretary Dr. Oscar Mukuza Muhereza during the celebration exhausted the factors that disables the health workers to work in good conditions.
When you are low in numbers, most likely you will make more mistakes. When you are few, most likely you will get tired, and this tiredness will lead into mistakes. When I talked about the pay, when people are not motivated to work as best as they could, then these are the safety mistakes that you make. When people are rushing to add on another employment, to add on another thing, then definitely they will make mistakes, and these mistakes will be to them as practitioners, but also to you as a patient watching us. So those are the two cardinal things I talked about. When you look at the equipment sometimes we use, when you look at the authentics or the places that we work from, these are the places that does not encourage or promote safety. If you have blunt scissors, if you have things that don't really encourage safety, those are the things that will affect you as you try to cannulate, as you try to do some procedures without equipment. This will promote you making mistakes, but also the patient having issues with the procedure going wrong.
With all said, the health workers still struggle, especially during this period of the pandemic, where many patients are being admitted in the hospitals, but with no enough medical facilities.
If anyone in this world wants to be successful, the only route is waking up in the morning to go and work, as other people wait for government to help them. Some small-scale industrialists are busy working to make both ends meet. In this special report, we visit United Development Center in Namugongo to learn how to make briquettes. Aida Tumheire is a strong member of the Uganda Small Scale Industries Association. She now takes us through the process of briquette making. Tumheire asserts that what most people regard as useless, like the banana peels amongst others, is what we use to come up with the briquettes.
Amanda gano getukora agava mu bintu abalala bye balabamu nga kasasiro. Naye ffe tubiraba ne tubironda ne tukolamu amanda. Tunoonya ebikuta by'amatooke, ne tunoonya abalima ebintu bye bajje mu ndimiro zaabwe nga bamaze okukungula, ffe ne tubireeta wano. Tuyina ebyuma byaffe bye tukozesa era tusooka ne tubyanika ne bikala bulungi. Bwe bimala okukala ne tujjamu ebintu ebitalina okubeeramu nga plastic, emisimaali n'ebintu ebirala. Kati awo ne tubiteeka mu kyuma ekya drum. Kati kya drum awo n'obeera nga osobola obyokya, naye n'olaba ng'obyokya bulungi ne bivaamu olusenyenti lwe tukozesa. Lwe tusooka ne tuteeka mu mashini endala kurasha, awo ne tulukuba bulungi ne lubeera nga it's fine powder. Kati ne tumala ne tuteeka mu mashini endala ebitabu emixinga, awo omukutabula tuteekamu binder esobola okubikwata. Ffe wano tukozesa molasses, akawunga ka muwogo, ne tukozesa n'ebumba. Kati ne tubitumaze okumixinga, awo tuteeka mu mashini esembayo ekola eryanda lyaffe. Mashini esembayo wano tukozesa mashini z'amasanyalazi, extruder. Amanda gekola gabeera in form of sticks. Kati bwe tumala okugafulumya tugatwala mu dryer ne tugaanika.
When the process is done, briquettes are supposed to be stored in a very conducive environment that will not cause damage, as Olishaba Julian narrates.
Where we are standing right now, this is where we dry our charcoal from. Right away from the production area, this is where we bring it. We put it here to dry for some days. Drying depends on the weather. When the weather is not so bad, it just takes a few days to dry. But when it is somehow rainy, that's when it can take some days. But if the weather is good, there is sun and everything, it just takes a few days to dry from here. And we don't use iron sheets, we use the UV paper. The reason why is because it brings a lot of heat. For this briquettes to dry, we need a lot of heat in here. That's why we use the UV paper, because when there is a lot of sunshine, you can't even stand here for 30 minutes. There is always a lot of heat that helps our charcoal to dry so fast. You can see it has really dried. Even when you break, you see it's a bit hard. It's not like when you've just brought it from the machine. So you can see it and you really see it is dry. We space it like this because it helps someone who is putting them here. It Like when you bring them from the production area, you see we have different ladders, and we put some space because it will help someone who is drying. Like there is some space for you. You can put the briquettes, and yeah, we use wood. Even metallic things can do, but wood would be better.
Then the next step is the packaging, which is either done by wrapping papers or charcoal polythene bag.
We pack them in kilos. Like we normally get clients. Like who wants like 50 kgs at 50,000, others 100 kgs, 100,000. Some who wants like 1 kilogram at 1,000. So we just get 6 pieces at 1,000. Then 50 kgs, we normally pack it in our sacks.
Ekongo Aaron, one of the workers, that he joined this workplace when coronavirus had entered Uganda. He says this job has made him fulfill his ambitions, and on that note, therefore, he appeals to fellow youth not to despise jobs.
I joined it when COVID-19 had just started. So the reason why I joined this, as a student, I didn't have some money. I need some money. I need some small thing in my life. Like when I'm going back to school, I need some small fees and some requirements. So it has helped me a lot. As teenagers out there, I advise you to come, and have a training. They're offering training.
The truth is, most people have feared to engage in this briquette business with a view that there is no market. Ida asserts that this business is lucrative, with a wide range of markets ranging from the people around the factory, hotels, to mention but a few.
Environmentally friendly. When you're using the briquettes, you're saving and conserving the environment. Then in terms of the cost, it is also cheap compared to the normal charcoal. And when you're using the briquettes, your briquettes can last for like a month. That is a sack, and you find the person who is using the normal charcoal, a sack is only taking like 2 weeks. I also use it that was before we started making briquettes. I could buy a sack and it completes only 2 weeks, but currently I'm also a customer of these briquettes. So I also get a sack, take it to my home, and use it for a full month, and sometimes even more. So when you use the briquettes, you save on the money you would have spent, and it is also smoke-free. So you don't, it doesn't produce a lot of dust.
Ida asserts that if it wasn't Uzia and have come this far, on that note, therefore, she's appreciative to Uzia for the great support. Therefore appeals to all people having small business to join Uzia so as they can grow their business.
I'm Ida Tumuhirwe from United Innovations Development Center. I'm a member of Uzia, Uganda Small Scale Industries. I've been a member of Uzia since 2018 to encourage another person out there. If you have a business and you've not joined Uzia, please join.
Uganda Small Scale Industries Association indeed is an organization that have proven, amongst other organizations, to be a strong pillar in helping small-scale industries to grow up, mature in business, but also fulfill the required standards by government. Those include certification, business registration, amongst others.
Smart 24, driving business.